I think you'll really like this drop stitch chevron scarf. A single row garter repeat for the chevron and a loosey-goosey drop stitch means this scarf will work up quickly and easily with loads of texture, drape, and the fun chevron shape. I think it's a great project to start off the year. I've been seeing lots of knitters with big aspirations for the new year, and I can see how it can get a little overwhelming. So I wanted to bring you a cheap and cheerful pattern that you can get started on right away, no planning, no pressure, and in no time you'll wind up with something really nice. Then you can figure out how you're going to conquer 2023. So just grab a 6mm set of needles, some thicker worsted borderline chunky weight yarn, and start this stitch by casting on a multiple of 12 plus 13 for our chevron pattern repeat. For me, this was 37 stitches, then I added 2 edge stitches, one for either edge, for a grand total of 39 stitches to cast on. Then I went ahead and knit the first row to get the tight cast-on row out of the way. Now I will show you the single row repeat that we'll do for our garter chevron rows. I knit the edge stitch, then knit one. Now your pattern repeat begins as follows. Knit 5, knit 2 together through the back loop. So get your needles positioned like so, to wrap and knit through both of those stitches to decrease by 1. Then you'll knit 4. And we're going to add that stitch back with a KFB increase, or knit front back. Knit into the stitch, but don't drop it off the left needle. Come around to knit again into the same stitch through the back loop. Then drop it off, to increase by 1. And that's it. That's the whole repeat. Knit 5, knit 2 together through the back loop, knit 4, KFB. You'll do that to the end of the row and knit the edge stitch. I skipped ahead so you can see me working the pattern once I've got more of my project knit up. Knit the edge stitch, knit 1, and resume, knit 5, knit 2 together back loop, knit 4, KFB. And for a scarf just like mine, you'll work the garter chevron rows for 10 rows before starting the drop stitch. Now let me show you how I worked the drop stitch. Go ahead and knit the first stitch. Then before knitting the next stitch, you're going to wrap the yarn around the right needle 1, 2, 3 times. And knit the next stitch. Again, 3 wraps, and knit 1. Wrap the needle 3 times before every stitch. And you don't have to worry about your chevron increases or decreases on these drop stitch rows. Just get all the wraps set up and the stitches knit. On the next row, you'll knit the first stitch and drop all of those wraps off the left needle and knit into the stitch. Drop the wraps and knit the stitches. Again, no need to worry about increases or decreases here. I like to tug on my work as I do the drop stitch row, just to even out the loops and make it easier to identify my stitches. It's a good idea to count your stitches after this row to make sure you didn't miss or add any. And on the very next row, you can resume your garter chevron repeat for the next 10 rows. You can work this pattern for as long as you'd like, And I'll talk to you a little bit about the size of my scarf at the end. But you'll bind off on the 10th row of a garter section, and as you're doing your basic bind off, maintain the increases and decreases of the chevron stitch. When I come to the decrease, the bind off is very simple. For the increase, after working it, I slipped one increase stitch back onto the left needle so that I could pass my first stitch over to do the bind off. Then I slipped it back onto my right needle to finish binding off the increase. And that will maintain your zigzag on the edge of your work, which I think is one of the most charming features of this pattern. As I mentioned, you can work the pattern for as long as you'd like. I made a sort of mini scarf about 50 inches long, honestly just because I ran out of yarn. Then, since I'm a knitting daredevil, I tossed my non-superwash wool scarf into the washing machine on a delicate cycle, which shrunk the length by about 5 inches, and caused this beautiful slight felting to happen. I absolutely love how it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this pattern. I think it's just the perfect amount of complexity. Not too boring, not too tricky, just a really fun stitch to knit. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!